Hey guys, Rollout here with LEGO BIONICLE, Mask of Ultimate Power. LEGO abruptly pulled BIONICLE G2 out from under us before they delivered on the third promised legendary mask. The community, being creative as ever, flocked to Shapeways, and several substitutes have been made, the best of which coming from Cyberhand. I bought this mask, reviewed it on my second channel, and soon afterward I personally collaborated with the creator to improve his model even further. I offered creative input and an eye for detail, and together we made the currently available mask as accurate as it is. Regrettably, still not perfect. We lost communication before I considered the design complete, and there are still a few inaccuracies around the eyes and the jaw, but regardless, it is the best 3D printable Mask of Ultimate Power there is. Having spent way too much time examining every detail and making myself extremely familiar with its shape, I've become something of an authority on this design, and recently I wondered why there have been so few attempts at making a brick-built Mask of Ultimate Power. So I've put my expertise up to the test and gave it a shot. Obviously, this being LEGO, it's going to be inherently stylized. There's no way for a collection of bricks to be quite as accurate as a 3D replica of the mask. But I want to say that I am very proud of this design. I think it's a great display option for your Makuta. And I say this because I might come across as overly critical here, but that's just because focusing on its shortcomings is the best way for me to discuss this design. First of all, the shape of the lower jaw is an approximation at best. There's some spikes and curves missing. The chin is a little bit less pronounced than it should be. These jaw bars here are supposed to come up a little bit higher up beneath the eyes, and then generally there are a lot of surface details missing. There are these little triangular bits beneath the eyes that I couldn't quite fit in. This forehead crest is supposed to be split into 6 segments. I actually thought about using a TIE Fighter cockpit for that, but those are actually split into 8 segments, so I decided against it. He's supposed to have these more pronounced eyebrow panels. Instead, I just had the eyebrows sort of sweep into these back fins here. These top spires are supposed to tilt forward a little bit, just ever so slightly. It's a very small detail. And then proportionally, this entire back section is just a bit different than it should be. And you'll see what I mean once I get to some comparisons later. But by far the biggest liberties I've taken are with these side fins here, especially these top ones. They're actually supposed to branch out from above the eye, underneath the eyebrow here, and sweep back. But it turns out that's a very difficult detail to capture at this scale. There just isn't quite enough room in there. So I've tilted them down and actually have them come from behind the eye. But it creates this nice illusion. They still appear like they're above the eyes from the front here. I think it looks pretty good. Now these back fins here are supposed to be a lot smaller, a lot sharper, and a lot higher up. There's supposed to be a lot more distance between the jaw and these panels. They're actually the exact same piece as the one up above it, but I've tilted the back so that they sort of look like a different shape and they sort of look a little bit smaller from the front. Again, I think it looks pretty good, but they're not quite right. Despite all of that, despite the technical inaccuracy, if you compare it too closely, I still think it's very recognizable. This is still unmistakably the Mask of Ultimate Power, and since I wasn't able to make it 100% accurate by any stretch of the imagination, my goal here was to capture its essence and still make it feel right, even if it isn't. And I think I succeeded at that. The pedestal I have it displayed on is a simple combination of power miner wheels, and then it's held up by this clear armature here. Now there isn't room for a bionicle head inside, but there is this brick which a pin is able to connect to, just like this. And then using this adapter, you can attach it to your figures. This is a lot more solid than it looks. There are a few illegal connections in here, but you can toss it around. It can probably survive a fall, but do keep in mind that you are mixing mediums here, and the tolerances of CCBS and LEGO System are a little bit different, so you should still probably be careful. Just to be safe, I recommend attaching the adapter first and then connecting the mask to it. Now, as you can see, this is clearly built in Titan scale, so it does look a little bit large on anything that isn't the Journey to One Makuta combiner model. For comparison, here it is with the version 1 Shapeways mask, and keep in mind that this is an outdated model and the current version is a lot more accurate. Regardless, it's about the same size, and as you can see, the one on the right is a fair bit larger. But that becomes mostly irrelevant once you attach it to Makuta. One thing I think is very appealing about my version is that, well, simply put, it's LEGO. Even though they never made an official Mask of Ultimate Power, the one on the left is still a third-party product. The plastic quality is different, and it has this grainy printed feel to it, which bothers certain collectors who are purists for the official brand. That's not a problem on the right. This one is entirely made out of official LEGO bricks. Another benefit of this is that the plastic qualities are all the same as your official Bionicle masks. Aesthetically, they may be a little different, but there isn't a single color, texture, or material in this mask that doesn't match the ones found in your official sets. Finally, here it is worn by the Shadow Titan himself, and I think my favorite part about this look is just how vibrant the eyes are. The Shapeways mask relies on a face underneath to give it eyes, which is cool, but unless light catches them at the perfect angle, they go dark and get lost completely. Here, the eyes are always clearly visible. Now, I've settled on this vaguely sinister curve, but if you want, you can actually reposition them in a variety of different ways to achieve alternate expressions. He can be happy, sad, neutral, or even more aggressive than this, depending on the angle. Also, that pin connection in the back of his neck gives it an additional pivot, which offers just a little bit of extra articulation. Still, by far, the most interesting thing about this option is the price. The black Titan scale mask in the cheapest material on Shapeways is going to run you at least $20 before shipping. Higher quality materials with a smoother finish will cost you anywhere between $15 and $30, even more than that. It's an expensive investment for only a single element. On Bricklink, you can get all of the parts to build this mask for under $10 shipped. I am not kidding. I want to make this design as widely available as I can, so I would appreciate if you shared this video around the various Bionicle communities to get the word out. You'll find a Bricklink wanted list containing all of the parts you need in the description, and I will be making instructions for this in the near future, so don't forget to subscribe, and until then, this has been Rollout, signing off.